It's good to be with you this morning. I want to talk to you a little bit about your PEEHIP. Let me start out by making a comment about something Ms. Swindle said. She said we've been level funded since 2008. But what you may not realize is that in 2008, they reduced our funding by 5%. So we're basically operating on 95% of the budget that we had in 2007. I say that to say this, the thing you came here to hear is you will not have an increase in your premiums this year. You will not have an increase in your co-pays this year. Everything is going to stay the same. Now, I can't say the same about gasoline or groceries because the board doesn't have any control over that, I'm afraid, but your premiums will not go up. Now, if you retired on October 1st of 2005 or after, you may see a slight difference because the sliding scale does adjust a little bit from year to year, but the difference will amount to about 26 cents for every year that you were over or under 25 years. So if you were over 10 years, then your premium will reduce by about $22.60. If you were under by 10 years, it will increase by about $2.60. And I think that's a pretty good range there. The DEVA audit, which Ms. Swindle also mentioned, I know that was kind of a dirty word for a lot of people last year, but I wanted to tell you what the outcome was. The audit ended the end of June, and we removed 4,996 ineligible dependents. They were either voluntarily taken off because they were deemed to be ineligible, or they were not verified at all, which in that case we assumed that they were ineligible and we removed them. That has amounted to a $14 million savings in just 1 year. Now that, after we paid for the cost of that audit, because we did contract with another company, then that we still had a profit. And we still made up some money. And so next year, that $14 million that it saves will be actually totally in the PEEHIP pocket. Now, unfortunately, there are things that have gone up, like drug coverages, drug costs, and things like that. But your co-pays, Nicole will share with you about your co-pays on your drugs. As I said, they're not going up either, so that's good news. What is this season with PEEHIP? Anybody know what time of year it is with PEEHIP?
Enrollment.
Open enrollment, exactly. There are some things you need to remember about open enrollment. Do you have this book? I forgot to ask you. Do you have this book in your folder? Everything I'm telling you is going to be in this book. In the front cover, you'll see all the important phone numbers that you'll need. It's got the PEEHIP, TRS, mailing address, phone numbers, Blue Cross, Southland Insurance. If any of you are on Viva, that's also included in that. So you can look at all those numbers, keep them where you can find them. I've been telling the groups I keep all my important numbers on the refrigerator. I don't even know what color my refrigerator is anymore. It has so many important things on it. Open enrollment started July 1st. It ends paper forms on August 31st. And if you're inclined to do things online and you need to make changes, that is through September 10th, midnight. Now, if you wait until September 1st and try to mail a form, it will not be accepted. If you try to log on after midnight on September 10th to make changes, the window will be closed. So make sure if you need to make changes, you do it within the next couple of weeks so that you have fallen within that deadline and you can get your changes made. If you're adding or canceling, if you want to add insurance like dental insurance, or if you want to cancel a policy, this is the time to do it. If you have adult children that you need to add back to your policy, this is the time to do it. And as you know, combining of allocations phases out completely as of October 1st. What's going to happen if there's a husband and wife that's still on the same policy? Both are retirees. They're going to look at their different years of service and when they retired, and they're going to look at which one is the least expensive for the couple. Now, if you're both Medicare eligible and you're on the same policy, you might want to consider going to separate policies, because that will only cost you what a Medicare Plus policy will cost you. If you have 25 years, that's $10. So there's not many places you can go to find a Medicare Plus policy with drug coverage for $10. Also, I had a member ask me just a little while ago about the FPL. She wanted to know what that was. It's federal poverty level. We offer a discount. It's a federal program where if you qualify, it's based on income. If you qualify, you can get from a 10 to a 50% discount on your hospital medical premium. Like I said, it is based on income, so you have to have filed income tax in order to be able to file for the federal poverty level. This form and any other form you might need is in the back of the book. That's the application that you fill out. Also on the back, it gives you a chart that will tell you if you may qualify, if you fall into those ranges. It's from 1 to 300% of the federal poverty level, and where you fall in that range depends on the whether you qualify at all or what percentage you qualify for. Also, any of the other forms that you might do in the back of the book, enrollment form, a status change form if you need to cancel. There's also an envelope in the binding of the book, pre-addressed, for you to use to mail back your form if you need to. And there are just 2 changes to the coverage. They may affect you, they may not affect you. One is sleep studies. For any Blue Cross approved sleep study clinic, freestanding clinic, the copay will be $10. If you have a sleep study done in an outpatient facility, then that will be a $150 copay. So if you have to have a sleep study done, you might want to check a freestanding clinic, find out through your doctor if there's one available, so your copay will be less. If you have children that they're still in your household that are under 18 years of age and they need a sleep study, it doesn't matter where you do that for them, it'll still be a $10 copay. As I said, the premiums are not going up, so that's one thing that you can, you'll have a little extra money to put in your tank, or you won't have to put more out for your insurance. I don't know about you, but at home the other day, between the morning and the afternoon, our gas prices increased by 10 cents. 10 cents. I'd say we could go back to horse and buggy, but I think hay's expensive too, so. Wellness and Weight Watchers. How many of you have taken advantage of the wellness program this morning? How many have gone in there and had your blood pressure or everything checked? This is a valuable service. If you're not on Medicare, you're eligible to have this done. It is, they do cholesterol screening, glucose screening, blood pressure, and if you went in the doctor's office and had blood tests run, you're going to have a copay on those. So if you have them done here, that saves you that copay. And it gives you immediate results. You don't have to wait to call that number at the doctor's office to find out if everything's okay or not. All right, adult children. How many of you still have adult children living in your household? Anybody? There are a couple here. They can still stay on until they're 26 years old. It does not matter if they are employed. They can be married. We will not cover the spouse of your adult child, nor will we cover the child of an adult child. So if you've got your child and your grandchild living with you, we're only going to cover your child. If you add a person during open enrollment or any other time during the year, you need to provide the documentation. I always ask people, I've asked this before, was anybody that planning on having a baby this year? don't know her name, but last year when I asked that question in Thomasville, she said, honey, there are no Sarahs and no Abrahams in this group. This year she reminded me that she told me that. So if there have to be any Sarahs or Abrahams, I would love to talk to you after the meeting. Okay? But if you decide, if you're single, you decide you want to get married, you can do that anytime during the year, of course. You can add your spouse when you get married. Now, if you're already married, I think your spouse would frown on you marrying somebody else right now. But if you do decide to get married, because babies may be for young people, but love is for everybody, thank goodness, then you just call our office and we'll tell you how to get your spouse added to the coverage. If you are on Medicare due to age, then you know you have to have Medicare A and B, because PEEHIP automatically becomes your Medicare Plus policy. PEEHIP will pay like a C Plus policy, like AARP's Humana policy, but we consider that we are as good as or better than any of those policies. If you're on disability, if you retired on disability, or you have started drawing Social Security disability benefits, and you are not yet 65, you know, within 2 years after you start drawing that Social Security disability benefit, they're going to offer you Medicare. Now, you need to take that, because once PEEHIP finds out from Medicare that you have been offered Medicare, then we're only going to pay 20%. And so that would leave the other 80% out of your pocket. So you really, really need to be careful about that. Now, if you decide to draw Social Security benefits, just your regular Social Security benefits, when you're 62 and early, that does not affect your Medicare. You won't need Medicare until you're 65. I had that question asked to me the other day. Just because you're drawing early benefits, that does not mean you're disabled. It just means you choose to draw it early. Then that does not affect the fact that you will be eligible for Medicare at 65. Okay. For friends that you have that are still working, remind them that when they get ready to retire, if they are already 65, they need to have that Medicare in place, their date of retirement. Not the day their allocations run out, but their date of retirement. It has to be in place, because once you're on a retired contract, if you're eligible for Medicare, then Medicare will be the primary payer. All right, I think that's all I have today. Does anybody have any questions? I'll be around after the meeting, and I appreciate your time. I'm going to turn it over to Nicole.